Good morning or good afternoon, as the case may be. My name is Father Joe Mulligan. I'm talking to you from Nicaragua. I'm a Jesuit of the Midwest province. The provincial office is in Chicago. I've been in Nicaragua since 1986. My main ministry here is with the Christian-based communities, which are small communities in some chapels or meeting halls in some of the outlying neighborhoods, barrios of Managua. An important ministry has developed. In fact, it started in my very first years here with people with disabilities. This has been very inspiring to me. It's been very nourishing for my faith and for my priestly commitment to see the struggles that people go through. And it's hard enough to live in a very poor country like Nicaragua. It's the second poorest in the Western Hemisphere. But people with disabilities have additional burdens and additional obstacles to deal with. So I developed in my very first years here, late 80s, 1990, a fund for the disabled. I know the people very well. I've visited some of them in their homes, but mainly I talk with them individually when we meet every 3 or 4 months. So as I said, it's been helpful to them. I believe we have a good personal relationship and very inspiring to me to see how people can struggle and how their faith in Jesus helps them to struggle, helps them to continue on in their lives with great difficulties.
This was the realization of a dream which Elizabeth had had for many years. As a child, Elizabeth had polio and never had the opportunity to go to school. But as a teenager, Elizabeth became a member of the youth group at the Monsignor Lescano parish in Managua, and there a priest, as well as some of her peers, encouraged her to go to school. So she finished grade school and high school, and then went on to the Central American University, which is the Jesuit university in Managua, and got her degree in psychology. Elizabeth's Christian faith has been very important to her over the years, sustaining her and helping her to deal with her physical limitations. Her love and caring for others is very deep and profound. She feels the love of God for her in the love of others, and also she expresses her love for Christ in her service of others. Her hope is of a very practical kind. She took the necessary steps to prepare herself for her in her profession of psychology, and she founded her preschool as a basis of hope for the future. On December 4th, 2015, Elizabeth's preschool celebrated its first promotion and graduation. The mood was jubilant among parents, children, and teachers. As they celebrated all the good that had been done during this first year, there was a great sense of happiness among everyone and a sense of real achievement at what had been accomplished.
¿Y has continuado con el programa todos estos años?
Sí, todos los años.
Y el año pasado, digamos, ¿cuántos niños participaron?
12 niños.
12 niños.
Sí.
Y hay algunos niños con necesidades especiales, ¿no?
Sí, desde el año pasado hemos tenido niños autistas y niños sordomudos.
Ahora este año, ¿cómo están dando las clases? ¿En línea?
Tuvimos que hacerlo en línea Estamos haciendo, mandamos videos, mandamos las fichas.
The scripture passages for today are very appropriate for this occasion. For instance, in the first reading, there are references to grain and to eating and to milk. And we know that the Lord has created all the goods of the earth for all his children, all God's children. And yet it is up to us to see to the distribution of that food and other resources. And so we are the hands and the eyes and the voice of God. And so we try through our sharing of our resources and also our work for a more just and fair world, we try to bring about a situation where the poor are not starving, they are not having such a hard time to live. In the gospel passage, we find Jesus being moved by compassion. This is very frequently stated about Jesus' response to people in need. He was moved to compassion, moved by compassion. And as a compassionate person, he put that into action. He reached out, he helped people in their needs. And so we too should pray that we are moved by compassion, that we have hearts of flesh and not hearts of stone. I would ask you to be generous today. The needs of what we call the third world, the poorer countries, are great. Their hunger seems to be growing, actually. And in Nicaragua, where I live, now we're faced with the reality of COVID-19, and the whole economy has suffered, as the economy has suffered in the US. But in countries like Nicaragua, the economy was already at a very low level. So the people are getting more and more desperate. I find people just being more and more needy and desperate. So I would urge you to be generous in your compassion, in showing your compassion in good works. Thank you.